Yeah.
How many times have we recorded this?
Why are you bringing up old shit? Why? We recorded it 3 times. Yeah. I forgot to press record. What was the reason for the second time? Yeah. What was the reason? Why didn't the first one work? Oh, it was just trash. So whose fault? Thank you.
All right. So, what are we here to do today?
I don't know. You tell me. You're the director of this film.
Just want to jump in frame real quick, but
Go ahead.
All right, y'all. So for once, I'm jumping out from behind the camera. So it has been how long? 1 week?
Yes, today's day 7.
It is day 7 since opening. And really what we're here to do today is ask Mark some questions about how the first week of being an open business is going. Sound like a plan? All right, record is hit.
Record is on. Audio's going.
How does it feel knowing that your business has now been open for 1 week?
Man, I'm tired. I'm tired. I'm the only barista. Yeah, man, I'm tired for real. So we are open 6 to 6, Monday through Friday, and then we're open 7 days a week. And then during the weekdays, we're open for 12 hours a day, and I'm the only barista we have. So like, I'm here literally every single hour that we are open. So it's been tough, man, for real. I've been eating like 2 meals a day. And I'm only sharing this because I think it's important, because for a long time I had a persona, or people had a perception of me that like I was just solid all the time, and I am solid. I'm good. I'm good at prioritizing and executing, and I understand what's the priority right now, but the priority is honestly this space, so a couple things have taken a backseat, like my diet, getting a workout in every day, and sleep. And sleep. So I know that that's not a good long-term strategy, but I feel really good about the investment that I've made, because I could have easily, have made some adjustments to the day-to-day routine or game plan in order to prioritize some of those things. But right now, this place is the priority, and I feel really good about it. Today was probably our busiest day. Every single day, it's gotten busier and busier and busier. So things are going well.
When you finally knew that Saturday would be your first day, last Saturday was going to be your first day, how did it feel Friday night?
I don't know, man. I don't get nervous for things like that. I think that that's what people might expect, but generally speaking, I really don't get nervous. I really go into things with a belief that, like, if anybody can do it, then anybody can do it. And I know that I've been really putting the effort required into this. I know that the work ethic is there. I know that the hours are there. I know that the relationships are there. So, like, honestly, it was just time to do what I've been preparing to do. And I felt good going into day 1.
What's been the biggest lesson you've learned so far in this entrepreneurship journey?
Oh, man. I think that the entrepreneurship really comes down to, like, not quitting. At least just getting over the hump of wanting that most people never get over. It's really not a question of like talent or ability. For me, it's just persistence. Like, there's been so many days where literally, like, out of money, or it just seems like something will just fall through, and not go as planned, and you just want to quit, and it would be so easy to quit. Like, that's just that temptation is always in the front of your mind. You just want to quit every day, but just like getting comfortable with that temptation sort of like sitting in your field of view, like quitting is like right here, and just getting comfortable with it, but like keeping it at a distance at all times. Like, I think when you get over the hump of like stop seeing this as a temptation and just starting seeing it as like a reality of there's always that option there, but like, just being strong enough to like disregard it all the time. That's I don't know. For me, I guess the biggest lesson is that you don't have to know everything. You don't have to be qualified. You don't have to be educated. You just have to have a strong work ethic. You have to be willing to learn from failure, and you just have to have the persistence to not quit when it's hard.
The phrase "forward is forward" has been kind of like the theme of this whole journey.
Mm-hmm.
Can you break down what that really means for the people watching?
Yeah, I mean, throughout this process, it's just it's an extension of what I was just touching on, which is like the biggest lesson that I've learned is that you don't actually have to be qualified or prepared. You just have to not quit, right? Well, like forward is a mantra that I've developed over the course of the last 6 months, because there's been days where like I gave it everything I had, but like I didn't move forward quite as much as I wanted to or whatever. And I just repeat, forward is forward, right? Some days we move fast, some days we move slow, but every day we move forward. And it was just a reminder to myself that like, it doesn't matter how fast or slow I'm going. It doesn't matter how much progress I feel like I'm making. As long as I show up and I'm just moving the boat forward a little bit, then I got a little bit closer to where I want to be. And, 1 inch at a time, it's felt like, I've just been inching my way toward this moment where it's not like I don't feel accomplished. I haven't accomplished anything. All that this moment is the moment that I had been working. It's the opportunity I had been working to create for myself, but it's just the opportunity. It's like potential, right? Potential is not, it doesn't mean anything unless you actualize it, unless you realize it, right? And so that's why, like on day one, it was hard for me to be excited or feel accomplished or celebrate at all that we opened, because just because we opened doesn't mean anything. I had been working this whole time just to get in the game, and now I'm in the game, and now you have to win, right? Getting in the game was not the goal. Winning was the goal, right? So forward is forward just reminds me that like, hey, you got to keep moving. You got to keep moving forward. And that was my mantra that I would repeat to myself when I wanted to quit. It's like, hey, no, forward is forward. We're going to keep moving forward.
What has been the most fun you've had or your favorite memory so far in preparation for opening day?
In preparation, yeah, I mean, it hasn't been fun at all. Like, it hasn't been fun at all. It's been hard. The most fun has come in this past week or so, really just seeing customers come through the door and then walk out the door happy. Like we just had a food blogger in here from New York City that like made a whole ass video about this place and, like just told us how like amazing it was and how this place is awesome. And not only that, we had a couple St. Louis food bloggers come through here, same thing, right? So like seeing people leave happy is cool. And then also like seeing people acknowledge and appreciate the contributions that like my friends have made to this place, whether it's people commenting on how cool the Instagram looks or whatever, that's all Grace, or whether people are commenting on the decor in here, like that's all Seema. And there's more people who have contributed, like the mural. My buddy Joe painted the murals, all the murals. Yeah, my buddy Murph, he does these YouTube videos, right? And so whenever people comment on any of that stuff, it's really cool because like it leaves me sitting in a place of humility, but also of gratitude, because like the truth is it's the people around me have like literally, like quite literally built this place. Like my counter, people comment on the counter in the bar area. Like my buddy Brady drove down from Minnesota and built that shit from scratch, so like it is cool to see other people. That's the best part so far is, one, just making customers happy and having great interactions, but two is seeing people really appreciate the contributions that other people have made.
When you think about being on Show Me St. Louis, for locals here, that's a big program. What was that moment like for you, where you actually got to tell your story and actually got to plug the opening of the shop on St. Louis Public Television?
Well, I didn't actually get to tell my story. For those of you that have never been on the news before, it fucking sucks. I'm pretty long-winded, which is why we started doing YouTube in the first place. And they hit me up ahead of time and told me that it was gonna be a 3-minute segment. I'm like, man, I can't do shit in 3 minutes. Like, for real. Like, I'm not that guy. I'm not made for 3-minute segments. But it was cool. I mean, it was just cool to be acknowledged. It was cool to be recognized. And the truth is, there's a lot of clickiness in St. Louis, for real. Like, I have never said this publicly, but it's true. Like, I'm just making an observation. There's a lot of clickiness in St. Louis with like the small business entrepreneurship scene, the social media marketing, the influencer scene. I recognize that in my whole life. I have like intentionally kind of resisted that. Like, I avoid that shit. I don't like to be like, I'm not with clickiness. Like, I don't know. I see a lot of like the local influencers or the small business, the entrepreneurs that are sort of in the circle get a lot of opportunities like that. And it was really cool for them to reach out to us because we're not a part of any of those circles, so it was just cool, man. It was really awesome.
When you think of the goals you have for Omen, short, medium, long term, can you give us an idea of what is in store for the work that you're putting in and what you hope to get out?
Honestly, I'm not a big goal setter. I don't really set like quantifiable goals very frequently, very often. What I do is I just try to focus on being the absolute best in my space at whatever it is that I'm doing. I want to be better than everybody. Like that's just, it's not a scarcity thing, and it's not it doesn't have anything to do with anybody else. I want them to do well as well. However, it's just how I'm wired. Like that's what I do. As soon as I get into a space, I look around, I assess, sort of the standard, and I just try to exceed. I try to not just meet, but exceed the standard. I try to raise the bar in anything that I do. And so that's really all I'm focused on right now. So you could call that a goal.
When you think of a piece of advice for young entrepreneurs, whether they're coffee, restaurant, or any kind, what would be your biggest piece of advice besides persistence and don't quit? Like, is there something besides the not quitting that you would have liked to have heard at the beginning of this journey?
Yeah, think about what is the best step one. Like for real. I had this idea to open a coffee shop, and so I went and I found a building and I signed a lease before I even had a coffee company, right? And in retrospect, we spent well over $100,000 building this place out, when really I could have started a coffee company. I could have started Omen Coffee Co. as you know it for like literally $3,000. Like $3,000. I could have started that shit 5 years ago and been building that business and been building that brand and the messaging and the, and the culture for like 5 years now. And it would have cost me $3,000 to get started. Instead, we're whatever, almost $200,000 in. And it's like, not everybody is able to just go from 0 to 100 like that. In fact, I almost was not able to do that. I'm very lucky and fortunate that it worked out because it was a bad move. It was really a bad move. Like oftentimes, and so the point I'm trying to make is that if you have this end goal in mind, there's something that you want to do, oftentimes there's actually like a small first step that you can take, and it's safe and it will still be effective at helping you build the momentum. And like theoretically, if I were to do this again, I would start the coffee company first, start selling the coffee, building the brand, building the community, building the culture, and from the money that I made from the coffee company, I would have funded the coffee shop instead of risking all of my own money to do this project, right? And then by then the momentum probably would have been there because you do it the slow and steady way. Like some people say like, hey, someday I want to do this. Well, oftentimes there's a first step that you're overlooking because it doesn't quite excite you just as much because it's not the end goal, and we want to go from 0 to the end goal right away. Well, again, if I were to do it over again, I would have took a different first step. That's all.
Have there been any sacrifices or investments that you haven't told anyone about? Things that are like, in order to get to where I am right now, I had to sacrifice X or Y or Z.
I mean, yeah. I mean, you find when you invest all your money into a brick and mortar business, I sacrificed financial security. Like I had a great job with a guaranteed paycheck. I sacrificed financial stability. Because like the full transparency, like these past couple months, we've had to lean on Grace. I don't pay myself from the coffee shop, so basically Grace pays all of our bills, and it's like I'm grateful that I have a partner that's like supportive in that way. But like if it was just me on my own, I probably wouldn't have made it through these past 6 months. So like that's a sacrifice. Like I've never in my life, like I hit the lowest point financially that I've ever been in my life before we opened up, because like all the money had been spent and I hadn't yet opened my door, so no money was coming back. Like, dude, that's so stressful. And so that, sacrificing social events, like right now, like I said in the beginning, like I'm working this, I'm the only barista. So I'm working 5 a.m. to 7 p.m. every single day, Monday through Friday. Plus I'm working 7 a.m. to 3 or 4 p.m. on the weekends. So like I'm spending however many hours that is, probably close to 100 hours a week here. and that's not long term. I know that's not sustainable, but like that's an investment that I'm making right now. Is like I have no life outside of this.
When you think of seeing omens, especially how it relates back to like The Alchemist, has there been an omen that you've been presented with that has just stood out to you, or something you think God or the universe has been trying to tell you?
And on like our first day, maybe second day, third day, I don't know. In our first 3 days sometime, there was a Spanish guy, Pablo, in here that sat here all day. He sat here for like probably 5-6 hours, and he was just working. Like he works remotely. And at the end of the day, he was my last customer in here. As we were closing up, he was getting ready to leave, and he said to me, man, dude, the energy in this place is just fucking amazing. Like the energy, dude, it is so cool. He said, when I first walked in here, I swear I thought to myself, man, all these people must be best friends with each other or something. But then I heard you say to somebody, man, it's nice to meet you. Just him like commenting on the culture and the energy and the environment was really like that to me is an omen. You know, I take that as like a confirmation that we're doing the right thing, that we're on the right track, and I just doubled down. You know, like that's when I went home and I said to Grace, man, this is gonna work. This is gonna work. It's gonna happen exactly the way I wanted it to, because that's exactly what I was trying to do. And 3 days in, somebody told me, hey, you did it. You know, and I just know from my background that if I can replicate that over and over and over again, one day at a time, that like it is only a matter of time before I need more space, before this place is gonna be absolutely full. It was full today. This is the 7th day that we've been open, and there was probably a 30-minute period where there was literally people in every single seating area in the coffee shop, you know? So, I mean, it's just one day at a time, but hearing him say that, you know, I think that was an omen for me. That was just, it's a good sign.
Any closing thoughts? Anything you want to leave the audience with before you get back to work?
I don't know, man. I'm just so glad that I did this. You know, I'm so glad that I did it because I wanted to. You know what I mean? And I think what's more important to me than anything else is that people see this and they see the fact that I did it, and they take it as confirmation that they could do whatever the fuck they want to do too. You know what I mean? Like I literally didn't know anything about coffee. I didn't know anything about running a coffee shop. I didn't know anything about roasting coffee or running a coffee business. I didn't even know how to pull a shot of espresso off of a fucking $40,000 espresso machine. I didn't even know how to use it. I didn't know anything about passing city inspections or getting a business license I knew nothing coming into this, and I did it. You know, here we are. A lot of you guys are going to show up here one day and be like, man, it's fucking awesome. But understand, I didn't know anything when I was putting it together. I just persisted. I just kept showing up, and it's going to work. Like I can already tell. Like my background is in sales, so like I can understand. I can read the numbers. I know it's going to work financially. You know, if I could do it, then you could do it too. That's really what I want to leave you with. Like I had an idea. I had something I wanted to do, and I didn't wait till I was qualified. I didn't go get no barista training, or I didn't do any of that. I just dove in and I learned on the job, on the fly, and it worked. And I'm not special. You know, if I could do it, then you can do it too.
Last time, motherfucker just said like and subscribe. So
like and subscribe.
All right, guys. That's
all
it.
right, guys. Thank you.